Hi guys, welcome back. Let's speak challenges that we have in our friendships and grieving friendships. So yesterday I done a topic about friendships and how men and women operate different with their friends. Like women are more platonic, emotional, they share more and they integrate their friends deeply into their lives compared to men. Men are they kind of operate in groups. They speak about things that are currently happening. They don't always speak about their emotions or personal things happening in their lives with their friends. So I just feel like there's just a big difference. But let's speak about some challenges. So yesterday I spoke about that symmetry. Women value feeling the same as one another. But what happens when women start feeling different or they start comparing their lives? What happens is a breakdown happens. First, it may be a bit of tension, and then eventually a breakdown happens. Unless women communicate, this is why I always say communication is so important, communicating how you feel with one another. And I just feel like there's certain things, yeah, that people do when they really like love each other or value each other. Things will come naturally. I understand that some people struggle to communicate and just with basic life skills, but if you actually really love somebody, you're going to express yourself and you're going to feel safe to do so. Do you know what I mean? There's not going to be any weirdness, any repeating what the other person said to other people, or you get what I'm saying. So I feel like if friends do not take that step to communicate, then a breakdown happens where it's like tension between each other. Each friend will feel a certain type of way. Of course, it may start off with one friend. Say, like, example, friend B is upgrading her life. She's just constantly progressing. She's got everything she wants, whatever the weather. Person A may start comparing her lifestyle to person B. Like, how come all these good things is happening to them? Like, how are they doing so well within their lives? Da 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 da. And person A may feel a type of way about that. So she may just build up feelings, because at first in the beginning of their friendship, they person A felt that they was the same. They was on the same level. They was, more they had more in common. Whereas now there's a shift in the friendship. So that can cause person A to pull away, either hold feelings, feel like bitter against person B, and then person A can just randomly like withdraw, stop contacting person B, completely block them out, and just kind of hold this grudge and just distance themselves or completely fall out with person B, sorry. So this is what happens in friendships all the time. And I was speaking to my friend about this today because I don't have a group of friends. I'm friends with people individually, but there's a little situation that's happening. Not really a situation, but her other friends have randomly stopped speaking to her. So today, I've had a very busy day, but then my friend, she was getting her hair done around the corner, and then she came to see me. So she came to see me for a few minutes. We're both busy. She's got to do what she's got to do. I've got to do my content and stuff. And I was just having a conversation with her, and I was explaining that I believe, yeah, friends that randomly just distance themselves, especially when you're close to them, when you have history with them, they just randomly, when nothing bad has happened, yeah, and they just randomly stop talking to you, like there's an issue or there's no form of communication, no closure, no nothing. They have some sort of secret animosity. That's what I believe. I understand that people outgrow each other, but that's not what we're speaking about here. We're speaking about secret animosity.
I think the most dangerous person you can have around you is a person who has secret animosity towards you. Like, what's that in your heart to be able to have that much ill will towards somebody? To be able to have that much hate or that much jealousy towards someone. And a person who has animosity towards you, this is what my problem is with people like this. Because they give the most backhanded compliments, they give the most backhanded congratulations, and you just never really know what their heart's intent actually is, because most times it's not pure. And my thing is, this is what runs me insane. This is so weird to me. Like, if you failed, that person would be able to sleep good at night. If something happened to you, they would probably silently celebrate your downfall or your failure. That secret animosity is devious. They're waiting for you to fail. What makes it even more dangerous is that the person who has secret animosity towards you will usually try to get close to you. They will usually try to pretend that they're your friend. They'll have that dagger just waiting to stab you in your back, waiting to see you fail, waiting to corrupt whatever it is that you build. And that's sad. That's that blow you never see coming. You never see it coming. I don't understand it. There's too much love in this world to receive, and it's too much love to give. If you just hate a person simply because they're successful, or because they have something great about themselves, or they have a gift, or you see their value, if you just simply hate a person for that, like they ain't did nothing to you, that screams self-hate. That screams self-loathe. Because there's just
Yeah, and I think it links back to the prime example that I just done about person A and person B. That is a prime example of how secret animosity can happen when friends start comparing themselves to each other, comparing their progress, and feeling different. You know, when that element of difference comes into the friendship, that can cause secret animosity. That can cause somebody to feel that their friend is better than them, or just hold ill feelings towards their friend out of nowhere because their friend is moving forward in life, things is getting better for them. So this happens all the time. This is something I've experienced. It was easy for me to speak about this to my friend earlier, because people are just weird. You know, you will have things will be going in well in your friendship, no bad situation, and then they just ghost you. And as I said, people outgrow people. That's a topic for another time, but that's not what I'm speaking about here. I just feel like this is why communication is so important, but also being real to ourselves, because people can communicate and put on a facade and act like, oh, this is the problem or that's the problem. But really, no, the problem is how you feel. And a lot of the times, the way we perceive things, when we perceive imbalance, it's like we're perceiving it in a wrong way. So we can perceive, say like somebody notices that their friend is progressing in life. It's very easy to mistake that, like see it as, oh, my friend thinks she's better than me. My friend thinks he's better than me. When no, they don't think they're better than you. They're just doing better. They're just moving forward. So as much as communication is important, being real, saying things how it is, and just saying how you feel is important. Do you know what I mean? Because as I said, anybody can communicate and say this and say that, but what is it that you really want to say? How do you really feel? So I feel like that's also important, you know, communication, being real, being true to yourself, saying things how it is, and just being open with each other. That's what friends do. Despite people being very snaky nowadays, your real friend will never throw anything back in your face, you know, and say, oh, like, use your feelings against you. Like, oh, you felt this way, so I'm going to use it against you. I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that. Real friends are not like that.
If you have a disagreement with a friend and they take that disagreement as a way to sit there and throw your personal business back in your face, that was never a friend to begin with. No real friend will sit there and throw your business back in your face, knowing what you've been through. When a friend does something like that, just know they were planning this the whole time. The whole time. You just never seen it coming. Because in your mind, that was your friend. But in their mind, oh, this motherfucker telling me they business. They judging you the whole time. They never had pure intentions. No real friend will sit there and throw your business in your face unless they've been a hating motherfucker. Unless they've been a snake motherfucker. Unless they just a naturally foul motherfucker. No real friend gonna sit there and do that. I'm telling you. When a friend does that, they were never your friend to begin with. Watch who you confide in. Because not everybody you confide in is a real genuine person. They really a snake in the grass. And it's only a matter of time until they start fucking shedding it.
This is your sign. Somebody that's genuinely your friend will not be able to throw shade at you. They just cannot, because they love you, they care about you, so there's no underlying thing to say. Because everything that you have and everything that you are, they are proud to be there for you and proud to be your friend. So anybody that can pick up shade and just throw it jokingly in any kind of way, fish, form, or fashion, are they really your friend? Are they genuinely there to see you win? And just because y'all been friends for years does not mean nothing. Anything, it kind of makes it worse. Because as you've grown, they've seen you grow, and they're still where they are. So that builds resentment sometimes, not all the time.
So real recognize real. And that's that. Let's speak about grieving friendships. It's very possible to grieve a friend. I feel like it depends on how deeply you integrate the friend into your life. So, yesterday we done a topic, we spoke about women example, being more platonic with their friends, integrating their friends into their life to the degree of a sibling, whereas men integrate their friends into their life to the level of a cousin. If you think about the relationship you have with your siblings versus your cousins, is very different. Most people will be much closer to their sibling, confide in their sibling. The bond is just different. So I feel like if you integrate somebody into your life very, very deeply, it is very possible to grieve them as a friend, even if you had a right to stop talking to them, or they done something very bad to you, or even if because everything has to come to an end, right? So even if the friendship, it was just time for it to end, it's very possible for you to still grieve that friend. And I feel like it does depend on the relationship that you had with them, the history, the memories. Because I had that. I've experienced this sometime last year where it's like I was grieving my friendship with somebody. Certain things will happen in my life where it's like, oh my gosh, imagine if this friend was around, I know she will react this and that way, or we will be laughing about this and that. And even example, when I've had sad moments in my life, such as losing my nan, other friends, I've had support from so many people and I'm so thankful. But I always thought that this specific friend would be there because she was around, she was around me more. We have a lot of history. But grieving, the same way grieving your loved ones that pass away, grieving a friendship takes time. And sometimes it's just a matter of understanding that you're really not losing out from that friend. You see when you get in contact with people, or people contact you a few months or a few years from now, you have all these thoughts like, oh, I wonder how things are for them, if they've changed, if they've become more mature, or if things will be different between me and them. But the truth is, it's not. It's not. They haven't changed. They're in the same position. Things will not get better. Things are exactly how they need to be between you and them for a reason.
I had a friend who was very much, I considered like a sister. She's probably the only adult friendship I've had where I've literally fallen out with, like, ever completely.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy because we were like family, and that's very, very hard. It was like a messy divorce. It was really, really weird. But the thing is, and then, we posted about this the other day, like, somebody's not calling you because they owe you an apology.
Yeah. I think we all reposted it.
Repost. And it's interesting because, to your point, it's like, I can look at this person and say, this person was a good friend to me, but then I can also look at the ways and be like, they weren't a good friend to me, but also still have compassion for the fact that, like, I actually don't think that you intended to hurt me, but I actually know so much about you that I have compassion for the way that you don't even see yourself operating in this life.
That's real.
So that has actually helped me make peace with letting go of the anger I think I felt towards her for many years, because I definitely felt so hurt. And I was like, no, you knew what you were doing. And then after I was like, wait a second, you know this person intimately, very, very closely. You know why they operate like that. This is not just you. They do this with everybody. So it really allowed for me to make peace with that. And, like, even through the hardest parts and the, the realities that came to surface of that relationship, as much as I could still feel hurt, I don't feel angry.
And sometimes God just shows you, because he brings people back into your life. And that's exactly what you see. So when you're grieving your friendships, it's okay to grieve friendships and miss people, but you just need to understand that things are exactly how they are and where they need to be. Everything happens for a reason. I believe, you see, the people that's meant to be in our lives are in our lives, and they stay in our lives. And the people that's that love us and cherish us, they're there, through thick and thin. And realness is hard to find nowadays. I feel like social media has a big part to play in that. Social media has its pros and cons, but realness, real friendship, and or real relationships is hard to find nowadays because of people nowadays. They're just so weird. They always have an agenda, and they always have an agenda and hidden motives. But I also was watching a podcast, and they just said that the studies found that basically when you have a relationship, a romantic relationship, it's easier to get over your ex or someone someone you was with, your husband, whoever. It's easier to get over them because it's like when you enter a romantic relationship, you have that perspective that things may not last. And if things do end, it's kind of like, okay, you weren't my person. You just weren't the one for me. Whereas with friendships, we don't really think like that. We don't really think ahead and think, oh, this friendship is going to end. Do you know what I mean? This is going to happen. That's going to happen. When you become friends with somebody, it's usually because the feeling is mutual. There's joy, excitement, laughter, banter. You relate to each other. So you don't foresee that it's going to end. So this is why when friendships do end with certain people, or, your very close friends, it can be a hard pill to swallow, because you start to think like, how did that happen? Where did we go wrong? Where did we lose the love for each other? And also, you see, as friends, we tell each other things. So, oh, I love you, you're so pretty, or you're so funny. Everybody says things to their friends. We have reasons why we love our friends differently, and we're close to different friends for different reasons and whatever. And we all sometimes are very vocal about it. But it's like when things end suddenly, or even if there was a lead up to it ending, we can question ourselves, like, is there something wrong with me? How come I can't keep friends? Or how come this keeps happening? Or how come she just suddenly ghosted me? Or we are just not friends anymore? We can question ourselves and our personality traits, because if we hear something so much like, oh, you're so funny, you're my best friend, you're this, you're that, we can question ourselves like, am I still funny? Am I still good enough? Will other people find me funny? So yeah, there's that perspective. And also that it is very hard to, it's kind of hard to replace certain friends, the friendship that you once had. And I also believe it comes down to, once again, how deeply we integrate people into our lives. Because if you have, say, like you have a friend, yeah, best friend, you tell them everything. They know everything about you, so a lot's at stake. And the friendship takes an ugly turn. And then they expose you, however they expose you. Or they hurt you, they betray you, they do something to you. That can cause a deep hole in your heart and a lot of pain. So you may not integrate another individual into your life the same way you integrated that friend into your life. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely do believe that some friendships, it's just like, it will never be the same. You'll never trust anybody like that again. But grieving is a process, whether you're grieving a loved one that has passed away, or you're grieving a friendship that is just no longer. But this is why it's always important to understand yourself, who you are, the situations in your life, and also be accountable. If you done something, look, we're not all perfect, but one thing I am not is in denial. And I don't like people that are in denial, and they act like, they are the problem, but they act like they weren't the problem. So if you do wrong things, or you could have been a better friend, or whatever the weather, you may not need to have closure with whoever it is, but just being accountable within yourself. If there's an opportunity where you can be accountable with your friend, take the opportunity. But if not, just be accountable within yourself. Like, how can I be a better friend next time? How can I not do this? How can I not do that? Because it's just not good to be in denial. There's a lot of snakes and a lot of Judases, and it's like they navigate through life from friendship to friendship, hurting people, doing this, doing that, and they don't see their own wrongdoing. So that's where I'm going to end it, guys. I hope that this video helped you guys. I don't know if I'm going to do it as a full video or split it up, who knows. But that's the video about challenging the challenges we may have in friendships, and also grieving our friendships. But I think I'm going to be back with a part 3. But if you like this video, please subscribe, like, and share. Bye, guys.